When you're working as a salaried employee under someone else, you're taking care of someone else's baby, and regardless of how beautiful someone else's baby might be, it doesn't come remotely close to being as beautiful as your own fucking baby. What's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a harsh truth about the corporate life that most people are afraid to tell you about, only because they fear what the consequences might be. In addition to telling you about this harsh truth, I'm also going to explain to you a mental model that I've used successfully on numerous occasions to decide whether I should stick with the job or look for a change. But before I get started, let me tell you that I've decided that as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel, I'll be doing a live stream on which you get to ask me anything you want. So guys, every new subscription takes me one step closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Now you might be wondering, why did I decide to create a video on this topic? It's because I was looking at my YouTube analytics, and the one thing that I noticed is that nearly 70% of you fall within the 18 to 24 age category, which means that you're either still in college or are very new to the corporate world, assuming that you aren't working on any entrepreneurial venture of yours. Some of you might already know this, but I've had a very diverse and expansive set of corporate experiences, not only at giant corporations, but also at startups, and both in the United States of America and in India. And based on these corporate experiences of mine, I can very confidently say that every single job, regardless of how enviable it might seem from the outside, comes with its fair share of downsides, frustrations, and pain points. And let me explain why. For starters, most jobs, especially in India, require you to be at a certain place at a certain time, wearing a certain attire, and having to speak in a certain way. And that, according to me, is a big restriction on your freedom. Freedom is what? Freedom as a fucking human being. And that restriction on your freedom makes you feel very restless, makes you feel caged, makes you feel frustrated. And soon that frustration turns into feelings of resentment towards your bosses and your managers to whom you've given up that freedom. If you already work in the corporate world, you might be able to relate to the feeling that I'm talking about. Now, your counter argument might be that, look, these feelings of frustration that I'm talking about, that you experience while working in a job, are feelings that you experience while working on your own venture as well, or any side project of yours. And look, I agree 100%, but I'll tell you where the difference lies. The difference lies in the fact that when you're working on something that you have full ownership over, it's like taking care of your own baby. When you're working as a salaried employee under someone else, you're taking care of someone else's baby, and regardless of how beautiful someone else's baby might be, it doesn't come remotely close to being as beautiful as your own fucking baby. Even if your baby wakes you up in the middle of every night crying, you will somehow find the motivation and the strength to take care of it, to tend to it. However, when you're taking care of someone else's baby, even if you wanted to, you just cannot find the same love and care and attention for it. Now, before you're quick to jump to conclusions, let me tell you that I'm in no way dissuading you from doing the corporate life, but just don't go into it thinking that every single day will be like another day in paradise. Be prepared to deal with the frustrations and the downsides that are associated with even the best of corporate jobs. Every time you feel that this new opportunity is 100% tailor-made for you, you will be left disappointed, because once you hit the desk, there'll be something or the other about the job that won't be exactly how you had envisioned it to be. And if someone tells you that they love every single aspect of the job, they're lying to you through the skin of their teeth. I'll just give you my example. Look, I currently work as a sports presenter, and most people feel that sports presenters have a very fun and flamboyant life because they get to talk about sports, which is a topic that they love, and they get to rub shoulders with the who's who from the world of sports. And look, that's absolutely true. You know, using my strength as a conversationalist to talk about my biggest interest, which is sports, does not seem like work to me. It seems like play to me. In fact, I've had so many people come up to me and tell me that they would be willing to do my job for free, or perhaps even pay to do the job that I'm doing. However, the same people do not notice what goes on behind the scenes. You're spending hours doing research for shoots and interviews that are coming up. You're spending hours sitting down with the video editor to convert the raw footage into a solid final product. And a lot of the times, these aspects of the job seem very frustrating to me. But the mental model that I use, and the mental model that anyone who experiences frustrations in his or her job should use, is asking yourself the following question. Are the boring and frustrating elements of my job a good price to pay for the parts that I enjoy? If the answer is yes, you stick with your job. However, if the answer is no, you may want to reconsider your future at your company. But a few things to keep in mind when you're running this mental model or doing this decision-making analysis. Firstly, make sure that whenever you're doing such an analysis, you're not doing so when you're experiencing a low or when you're experiencing a high, because in either of those two states of mind, your emotions are very high. When you're experiencing a high, you typically tend to get carried away and you look at everything in positive light when the reality might not be as rosy. When you're experiencing a low, you feel that every single aspect of your job sucks and that you can't wait to quit, even though the actual reality might not be all that bad. So in order for you to be able to look at things objectively, do this analysis when you're in a neutral frame of mind. That is when you're neither too happy nor too sad. That's when you'll be able to see the truth most clearly. Secondly, give it at least 6 months in any role. In fact, I would probably even say close to a year before thinking about making a move elsewhere. See, you need to be able to collect enough data points over a long enough time horizon for you to be able to conclude with a fairly high degree of confidence if you should stick to a job or look for a move elsewhere. I'll use a footballing analogy to drive home my point. See, there's so many footballers who do not end up having the best of first seasons at the club, but oftentimes turn things around completely in their second season. So it's good to be a bit patient during your first year, and who knows, your fortunes might just change. And lastly, but very importantly, make sure that whenever you're changing jobs, your decision is driven more by attraction for your new role than by hatred for your current role. Because if your reason to change is solely driven by a desperate attempt to get out of your current role, then you'll end up accepting any job that's offered to you and find yourself miserable again in no time. Careful what you wish for, as they say. So guys, hopefully आपको इस वीडियो से practical knowledge मिली on how to carefully navigate the corporate world. And if that's the case, you know the next drill. सबसे पहले वीडियो को like करिए, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then share this video with a friend or a family member who you think would benefit from watching this video. If you've already spent a few years in the corporate world, I would love to know your honest thoughts on what you agree with as well as what you disagree with. Of course, if you feel comfortable sharing those thoughts of yours. Investment banking के videos के साथ-साथ my plan on this channel is to talk about professional development in general as well. So continue to stay tuned on the channel. मैं आपको promise करता हूँ कि एक दिन this channel will become the #1 professional development channel on YouTube. But for that to happen, you have to continue supporting me like you have so far. So thank you again for your love and support. I love you all so much. Stay safe, take care, keep smashing it, and cheers.